Industry works on four principles: science, innovative products and services, financial aspects, and market intelligence. So this is where the entire crux of the industry. On the other side, academia is nothing but faculty, management, students, alumni. The fifth one, and this is going to be the fifth pillar for academia. What innovation you are going to bring into each of these places. It is going to be the fifth pillar. If you are not going to innovate, right, because we need to Harvard, MIT, etc. Most of the faculty have their own, what do you say, industry, like experience company. So can you have that person here and here? I'm going to end now. The student last point I want to put in front of you all is so the student must, this is a big benefit when they go to university. The knowledge, they need to have a core knowledge. So that means core means, let's say, chemical engineering. So they need to, if you are taught carbon dioxide, coming out. So which is that is going to happen, so it will be energy sufficient. 100% energy sufficient. We don't have to depend on other things. English communication skills and finally ability to work in a team. So these are some of the skills that the students need to have before they come out of career management. With these small points, I'm sure most of them are implementable. It's only the days to come. Right? So therefore, let's have a person and let's industry come along with academia. Let's form the bid. Two bids I'm talking. It's not just a hypothetical bid. So let's put all the efforts into making this bid so that let's see some results in the bid. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming here.
Long before anybody thought about beyond IITs, IIMs. Now I request Professor H.C. Nagaraj sir, a senior academician, who is the Dean Faculty at Review, is the Principal of Intake Meenakshi Institute of Technology for the last 21 years. It's commendable. He's not keeping well. Still, they're made today to discuss with us. Appreciate your commitment, sir. I welcome you to discuss on. It's a record in the academic industry to serve any institution for such a long. It's a 21 years. So, the UK Group, NMIT. Now I request Naga sir to highlight what is the contribution of NMIT in industry academic collaboration, how UK institution can benchmark the IA contribution and collaboration for the future. Thank you, sir.
Respected member, as a member of the Global Youth Council, I visited our university of 15 universities across the world. I went there to see that because our mentor, Professor N.R.City, was a former member of the University, and also our president, Vinay. We went both industry as well as AAD academic. We were president of UK Institute of University. And also we have industry. So the combination is very good, and also our NRCP is full academic. We are a member in various CPE, so we get guidance of the university across the world, China, USA, China, Korea, then Dubai, then UK, then Dubai and all these places. I saw the best practices not there. So there I observed that each university in different schools of civil mechanical. That means each department will have at least 2 to 3 minimum industry setup, industry laboratory, and they are controlled industry. Industry will be located in campus. That is very important. They only teach that particular hands-on experience, everything. Each department they have at least 3 to 4 laboratories which I observed. And also the professors who are working there, minimum they have to go at least 3 or 4 months to the R&D unit of the industry. So professors who are there, even if they don't have knowledge, they have to go and learn. And they have to help the industry in R&D. Industry wants R&D. So that is what our speakers are told. Some innovation, some R&D activity should be contributed from the academia to the industry. Then only industry will be happy. Innovation, all these things. So in persons will be mandated you have to go to industry and work for 3 to 4 months and contribute something to that industry. What is it? And the nowadays to be controlled by industry people only, they will host people, use the so that is very important. That is not very important. And yes, there is a lot of people like that. It is mandated for all institutions. They upload the application. Including the other countries. For innovation. What are you want? 150 for innovation. They separate most of the and equal products and the education college in our college, it is supporting management and now these students there and those two athletes and others around, most of them, they are very mandated for industry companies. They are using the industry for 6 weeks or 8 weeks, they have to go there. They will take a time also, they will use it, suppose industry gets one week or 3 weeks, we want to be here for 3 months. We will not come, they are going to go for 3 months, after coming back, they are taking supplementary. Supplementary is not a failure, it is not a failure, supplementary is submitted. So there is a first paper, I will submit a student to go for industry, work for 3 months. So and also you fail with it, you are getting a cycle of 60% supplement. So student fail forward is better for the very hard. So there are also autonomous, the meeting is very difficult because also autonomous is under meeting. So in that way, I will have a mistake. And I pick up as well, there are some
For 5 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, you can give your input, you can ask questions to the parents, or you can give your input now, anything you can try. Speaking on this family or intersection why and how. Keep your time on this.
With the expert through online. So, say for me play, it took me almost 1.5 hours and 15 minutes to find the location, right? And see, we have our own constraint. When my wife said you are going today, so tomorrow you should spend with me. I think I'm modeling. Okay. So, since Corona is enabled to come online, so we can interact through online. So, no need to come here. Okay, and one more thing is, Texas is doing, connected with the college institute, where we give our own curriculum, we train these people, we will take them. Right?
It's a good excuse, sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, see, as a recruiter, right, I always feel that the students are, like, I have a driving license, okay, but I don't know how to drive. Similarly, the students who comes for placement, they have the license, but they don't know how to code and train these people, we will take them.
It's a good excuse, sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, see, as a recruiter, right, I always feel that the students are, like, I have a driving license, okay, but I don't know how to drive. Similarly, the students who comes for placement, they have the license, but they don't know how to code and train these people, we will take them.
It's a good excuse, sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, see, as a recruiter, right, I always feel that the students are, like, I have a driving license, okay, but I don't know how to drive. Similarly, the students who comes for placement, they have the license, but they don't know how to code and train these people, we will take them.
It's a good excuse, sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, see, as a recruiter, right, I always feel that the students are, like, I have a driving license, okay, but I don't know how to drive. Similarly, the students who comes for placement, they have the license, but they don't know how to code and train these people, we will take them.
It's a good excuse, sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, see, as a recruiter, right, I always feel that the students are, like, I have a driving license, okay, but I don't know how to drive. Similarly, the students who comes for placement, they have the license, but they don't know how to code and train these people, we will take them.
It's a good excuse, sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, see, as a recruiter, right, I always feel that the students are, like, I have a driving license, okay, but I don't know how to drive. Similarly, the students who comes for placement, they have the license, but they don't know how to code and train these people, we will take them.
It's a good excuse, sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, see, as a recruiter, right, I always feel that the students are, like, I have a driving license, okay, but I don't know how to drive. Similarly, the students who comes for placement, they have the license, but they don't know how to code and train these people, we will take them.
It's a good excuse, sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, see, as a recruiter, right, I always
just feel that the humans are, like I have a very research, but I don't know how to write. Simply, the humans who come for this band, they have the license, but they don't have the board arrange it physically to take them. That's a pretty curious thing. Yeah, so I think that you see, as a right, I always feel that the humans are, like I have a very research, but I don't know how to write. Simply, the humans who come for this band, they have the license, but they don't have the board arrange it physically to take them. That's a pretty curious thing. Yeah, so I think that you see, as a right, I always feel that the humans are, like I have a very research, but I don't know how to write. Simply, the humans who come for this band, they have the license, but they don't have the board arrange it physically to take them. That's a pretty curious thing. Yeah, so I think that you see, as a right, I always feel that the humans are, like I have a very research, but I don't know how to write. Simply, the humans who come for this band, they have the license, but they don't have the board arrange it physically to take them. That's a pretty curious thing. Yeah, so I think that you see, as a right, I always feel that the humans
I know of how many, one of the world major in computing industry and executing systems, Amazon forward because they know really figured out what exactly that Amazon was doing and how they were making that fundamentally doing the computing is going on. And they don't have anything that they didn't figure out, they couldn't find out. So if we are talking about doing a fundamental research or something like forward artificial, then industry academia collaboration will be very artificial. That is one step forward on this one. The second part that I would like to highlight here in the first hour, most of the very fantastic example of flat tire and the moving of the car and the tire. I think this is further. This is payment of academia is really more. So what is happening is we have lot of people out who are having lot of theoretical knowledge. So even the car and the payment going to the extent of moving the tire without having even one minute of doing mechanical intervention. And that's where the real problem is. So we have to have people who actually make hands-on knowledge. And that is the only way that government will do this industry academia collaboration which will be able to do knowledge and especially the innovation ecosystem. Now innovation is a very almost like a huge topic in itself to talk about things to create something that they thought. So what I would like to do is emphasis upon first of all our academia or the academic system or the individualism. All the success of individual practices, whether when you start looking at technology, when you start thinking, and there collaboration is very, very important today. The world around us is we are now part of a knowledge-driven economy. If you look at the history of the world, how the economies have evolved, we always talk about India was once upon a time in different times there was the very small so much of prosperity was there now, but the things have changed a lot of time. Again, there is an opportunity for India to look at the challenge because now the world around us is becoming a part of knowledge-driven economy. Now, what is the part of humanity in this knowledge-driven economy? Is very effectively convince our students that innovation plays an important role in the knowledge-driven economy, half of the world will be there. Because I can tell you that the students are very smart. They are more about generating awareness and connection with the right set of resources, whether those should be experts or those should be something that is already available out there. And those are themselves continuous to work their data. I have any number of examples I have seen on my past students that in my industry where a smart student is connected with the right set of people. They themselves figure out how to actually how to move forward. So with that, I think that's what I was saying. I need to come here and our opportunity to expand the topic. Because now earlier it was not like this, but now they ask the right answer by currency. So people are more ready about the factor. I have a point to add there. We can build a great institution with lot of facilities, good infrastructure, but the value of that infrastructure will be added value of this facility. Because now our focus is not really control factor in the bringing the value of the so we install institutions are really significant because of the facility or even the contribution of their level. They don't say so it is going to fill the whole group. So in fact, faculty can involve themselves in collaborating with all either in medical so these have gone there technical staff and working with the coffee those have gone through along with some participants so in that being the case, interacting with the industry, I have a lot of industry, there are both positive and negative aspects covered by undergraduate research folio, where we are trying to fund the student research, their innovations. So we are trying to provide seed money of up to 50,000 rupees for a student batch mentored by a teacher. So the teachers should be able to participate in such innovative activities because say out of 100 students, 5% are really creepy, 5 to 10% will be really creepy and they will have out of box thinking. Say as a teacher, it is our responsibility. Their innovations, as institutions, it is our trying to provide seed money of up to 50,000 rupees for a student batch because say when they have such out of box thinking, definitely they can bring in laurels, say contribute to a greater extent to the institution as well as to the society and to this great country. See, teachers should be should open up. So they should not be in a traditional mindset that say attending classes, say meeting the university requirements may not be the order of day. Along with meeting the requirements, we should also meet the requirements of the society, requirements of the country. Industry consultancy is one aspect where majority of the institutions we lag behind. So if we get funds from various funding agencies like VGST, maybe DST or SERP or whatever it may be, or DRDO, ISRO. But particularly having industry consultancy is one of the important aspects where say the faculty should interact with the industries for roping in some industry consultancies so that we can involve students in such innovative projects where students will get to know the hands-on experience on such real-time projects. Say for example, we have started 19 projects with Toyota, and again we are roping in one more wing of Toyota, and then we have signed MOU with one of the biggest laboratories, that is Anand Newberg Laboratories, where they want a lot of say problems to be solved through data science. So we are planning to involve students and faculty in such say aspects. So now there is a great opportunity for students and faculty to improvise upon this industry institute interaction. So definitely the days to come, as rightly pointed by one of the speaker, so definitely all of us would join hands together in bringing up such culture and make name and fame for this country. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Now I call upon Darshan SK, a dedicated entrepreneur and visionary with a passion for simplicity, elegance in design and the power of technology to transform the world. Darshan, CEO and co-founder of Plus, Darshan has showcased his leadership skill by working with numerous Fortune 500 companies, providing remarkable results for their organization. Welcome you, Darshan.
think we are all wrong, and we are looking at this from a point of we are nurturing students for the future, but I think we are actually creating dreamers who are going to create the future, right? So when I was growing up, my grandfather had a very short story. He would say, "Aatadtaro makluna yavattu disturb mavada." If kids are making noise, it means they are on the right path. If they are staying silent, then take them to the hospital. So I think that sums up what innovation is as a core to the underlying infrastructure. Why are all of us struggling in today's world is mainly because the infrastructure itself is changing. Today, everybody is talking about AI. In 6 months, everybody will talk about IoT. 6 months after that, it's something else. To give you a brief, I'll tell you that it's not AI, it's not IoT. I'm on the forefront, and all these technologies are old, right? Elon Musk is working on a chip that will go to your brain, and the reason he's working on that is because your fingertips are too slow to contact the internet, right? The internet will be implemented inside your brain. So anything that you're thinking about is already outdated. So how do you function in such an economy? What do you do, or what do you work on? That's where our kids are struggling, and our students are lacking the passion to even work on something. And why is this important, right? Because it's not that innovation is not happening. I want to talk about what innovation is actually happening in India. Look at UPI, world's first financial transaction instantaneous model that is nowhere replicated in the world. The same technology was taken to the mobility network, the Namayatri network, where Uber, Ola can't compete with our underlying infrastructure of the government, right? This has been forefronted to the e-commerce network, ONDC, and it will also come to the education network through Honest. But if a man called Nandan Nilekani can sit here in Koramangala while he is a billionaire and try to innovate for tomorrow's India, why are our students struggling, right? And even Bill Gates has come to Nandan Nilekani's office and said, no, you Indians are far above everyone else in the world, right? It's not that innovation is not there. I think we are not letting our kids have the flexibility to innovate. So I think we should let them figure out and actually go in every direction they need, not to be the next successful unicorn. Our aim should not be to make them a millionaire or a billionaire. Our aim is to teach them what not to do. Because if 100 students learn what not to do, then they'll eventually go out to the workspace and do the right thing. And that will change the forthcoming India. And I might be wrong in the way I started the speech, but I want to emphasize that the innovation is what leads the students to the knowledge, and that is what will lead the interest of the companies to come to the knowledge, and that is what gives you the success stories for the college, and eventually the government will be interested in you because they want to be the global superpower, and eventually it will lead to the world-class product. Thank you.
Thanks, Darshan. It was quite straight. Now I call upon Dr. Manjunath sir. Dr. Manjunath sir is a principal, New Yersing College of Engineering. What we today know New Yersing College, the credit goes to this gentleman, Dr. Manjunath. He was a former academic senate member of ETU, former executive council member of ETU, and his areas of interest lies in automation, manufacturing, science, and IoT. I invite you, sir. Thank you.
And also, he was in the industry before academics.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for the organizer for giving opportunity to speak a few words. And good afternoon, all the respected members here. I am asked to discuss about how do policies, including the role of accreditation bodies, influence and promote fostering industry academia collaboration, and what measures can be taken to enhance effectiveness in facilitating this critical partnership. Always the ecosystem is so important to bring this academic and the industry partnership. I think we are all aware, especially the medical field, all the medical colleges are attached to hospital, and the surgeon is going to teach and he is going to work with their students. So that is why now what heart surgery person or heart surgeon, he is not going to depend on a nurse or somebody, he is going to operate himself. Whereas in engineering field, the automobile engineer himself, he cannot repair his car, as you rightly said. This is because of our ecosystem, sir. What kind of ecosystem we have now? Generally, the students are permitted to choose their options in 12th standard, particularly whether I have to go to medical or I have to go to engineering. In place of that, what we can do, we can start with, say for example, ITI, diploma, and that person, if it goes to engineering, this problem can be easily resolved. This is one part. Then second is the policies. I am very happy, most of the accreditation bodies already incorporated all these policies, especially in the governance. They are going to ask any institution, whether you have the industry sponsored lab, whether you have the industry experts are in BOS or BOE or even in the academic council, all those things they are asking, we are already started giving, and they made it internship, project, everything is compulsory, and they are asking also for getting the marks. But to make it so effective, one more actually, the suggestion would be, even the same kind of the policy, they have made it even for the industries also. If the industry turnover, if it reaches to this much, they have to adopt one institution. If they start adopting the institution, not in terms of monetary benefit, in terms of the social responsibility, if they adopt any institution, definitely this gap can be erased immediately. And in our college also, we have actually, I think I am also observing the growth of the NITE, Meenakshi Institute of Technology. They are also doing excellent, and I am following their steps also by inviting the industry to set up labs in our campus also. That is happening, and industry persons are coming and talking also, and they are giving industry talks without expecting any kind of monetary benefit. That is happening, but still it has to improve further by actually the adopting. Some good industry has to adopt the colleges. If it happens, definitely ecosystem can create, and we can expect many things from them. And also one more, sir, the engineers also, software engineer, why the India is known for IT field, the software engineer, he can repair anything at any point of time. Suppose some coding, something happens, all those things, that much the knowledge and credentials our students has. So that is why we are known for IT industry. In future, the India should known for even manufacturing industry also. With this, I thank once again organizer for giving me opportunity to speak a few words.
Thank you, sir. Now I call upon Nachiket Gargali, independent patent consultant who works with semiconductor industry and have about 17 plus years of experience in IC design. He is also a registered India patent agent.
I request you to please nudge me after completion of 2 minutes so that I can conclude in remaining 1 minute. Thank you. So Bhagwan Vishnu has got, it is said that Bhagwan Vishnu has Saraswati Mata on his tongue, and because of which insecurity is fed by Lakshmi Mata, and Lakshmi Mata actually sits at his feet, right? The another way to interpret this is, if at all you become knowledgeable, there is no dearth that people are ready to pay to get their problems solved as you apply that knowledge, number one. Number two, whenever I talk to small kids about innovation, I tell them a story of Narsimha Avatar. Everyone knows Narsimha Avatar, right? That neither inside nor outside, nor day nor night, not human, not animal. And then what Narsimha Avatar actually signifies is outsmarting the beast of complacency, right? And it is very beautifully picturized. That is, the god is Ananta, right? Ananta means infinity. He has got infinite resources at his disposal, but then still he needed to be innovative to solve a particular problem. A lot has been touched by Prasad ji, so I don't want to touch upon incremental, disruptive, fundamental, or other types of innovations. I would say that what knowledge means to me is to push the existing frontiers of existing science and technology. So one of the engineering college students asked me that, sir, can you please suggest me a project of deep learning, machine learning, AI based FPGA implementation. I told him that I'm really primitive. I did not understand head and tail of this. I still use paper and pen, being in semiconductor industry for 17 years. So instead of that, what I told him is, this is the function generator, this is the CRO, just try getting me a sine wave on this, and he was unable to do that, right? Who has stopped you from doing AC to DC conversion in a more efficient way? There are about 1.25 lakh granted patents still getting granted only on rectifiers, right? Who has stopped you from doing innovation in Class C and Class D amplifier? Who is number one Class C and Class D amplifier? Anyone? It is Yamaha. They still file patents on Class C and Class D amplifier, right? Why don't you take up a single problem and then work on it? This actually has worked for many colleges where I have spoken. Recently, I got a call from one of the professors that, you know what, I have ended up getting a patent granted in how to make a particular musical instrument efficient in digital signal processing. Yeah, thanks. Right? So what I told that professor is, why don't you start getting in touch with the industries which actually manufacture musical instruments? And this is where the collaboration happens, right? This is how that collaboration has to happen. Try solving a try solving a partial differential equation yourself. First step, to push the frontiers of the existing science and technologies, get back to the basics. Are you able to build basic circuits first, right? And then go ahead with that. So coming back to one classic example of Edison, right? Edison was a classic manager. He actually acquired patents right from generation of electricity, distribution, transmission, and then he put things together to create a single ecosystem, right? He was a IP manager. I must say IP is important. And now comes the conclusion part. Thank you so much. That 99% of your fears are conquered. It is only 1% that remains. Just two action items before you. That is, first thing is set up a IP center, and second is set up a technology transfer office. Right? With that, I end my series here. Having said that, we all carry the blood of Cholas, Cheras, Pandyas, Marathas, Rajputs. These were the people who actually sent the shivers down the spine at one point in time, where we had a double-digit GDP. And I wish to see Bharat at Global Innovation Index ranked number 1. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Suzuki. This was deep patriotic. With this, we come to the end of the panel 2. We open forum for just 3 minutes of Q&A, not more than 3 minutes.
I'll ask a
Please, sir.
question to Manjunath sir and all. So we are talking about the government giving initiatives to industry bodies and to education bodies independently. But where is they getting connected collaboratively? So can we push AICTE and CII to kind of tie them at the hip part of that? Confederation of Indian Industry and AICTE can come together with a common agenda to drive this across. Because today they are going like this, they are going like this. It's like, when you draw a picture, 3 people blindly drawing. To draw an elephant, somebody thinks tail is here, somebody's head is here, while it turns out to be not even an animal shape also. How to bring at a top level? We are talking, as somebody said, at a ground level, can we have government connect them at the top, drive, collaborate? Is the process.
It is actually very simple. How MCI, it will ask, BMC medical college, whether it is attached to the Victoria Hospital or something like that, they have to mark it. They will come and inspect. So in that way, I have observed even both. MCA is so strict. Similar way, AICT also should ask the industry institution, it is attached to which particular company. If they are going to monitor, because one thing, sir, policies has to be there to monitor some of the bodies. Because the vision, I think one of the first panel member told, the vision of all the educationists may not be a good one. So because of that, some of the policies has to come to monitor everyone. So if they do that from the AICT point of view, I think the problem will be get solved.
So I will give you yeah, that's a very good question. Yeah, I always see that
yeah, hope you are able to hear me, right? So, a good question. So, I always see this, dilemma or the doubt in, especially in academia's mind, that why this is not happening. And I can tell you the answer is actually very simple. It doesn't require anything from government, and nothing is required even from any of the industry association. You took a name of or any of them. Okay, what is done at the ground level is there should be not just MOU. You should
doing a joint development agreement. I think a lot
of academia struggles to get into doing a joint development agreement, and I have seen a joint development
agreement which has a clearly identified projects. I think this is not. Yeah. So when you have a clearly agreed projects as a part of joint development agreement, right? You will see it works wonderfully. And for that, what is required is only the intent from the academia and the identified industry that you have. You may have manufacturing or you may have IT, any industry. Okay, so my request is don't stop at MOUs. Take it to the next level, do a joint development agreement with identified projects and time-bound results. These two things will definitely.
I'm sorry, Charit, for stopping you. With this, we come to the end of panel 2, and we break for lunch for a quick, small lime juice arranged there from organizers. We're ahead of time, quite ahead of time. So let's try to complete within half an hour and 45 minutes both the panels. With this, we'll just all of us, we can please go take a 5 minutes break and come back later. Thanks a lot. Thanks all the panelists for the brief and wonderful interaction. Thank you.
Sir,
इथे हिस्ट्री पाहून दादा
You see that how to pause and sorry, unmute.
So
Yeah, I think yeah. So
that's it. We made it zero now.
right when you start, you should
Just go ahead and pull it.
touch twice. Yeah.
Yes, I'm not putting you as a
Okay.
I'm the CPO. We keep going like this because the checking company and we essentially arrange guest lectures.
Yesterday there was I think folks. Yesterday they managed it. Suddenly how to do we just
Good thing I came. Actually not supposed to come. Somehow that's actually nice to see. Yes.
Bueno, está gracioso para pasar una noche y el silencio.
ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೆಲಸ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಬನ್ನಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು
Son 320 kilómetros, tardamos 3 días. Noche tardamos 6 horas 2 minutos. No, es temprano a la hora no hay.
So you can have juice.
I'm sorry?
Juice.
Oh,
Like to have
yeah,
juice.
maybe, yeah. We can keep our laptops here.
Oh, you have bought the
It's
laptop.
better to
There's a
take.
menu here. I'll stay here. You can have a cup of
Okay, if you go in a minute.
We'll get to sir. We'll get to sir. Exam ಬರೆದೆ.
6:30. No, a 6. Más tarde no, porque se podría. Claro, es las 6.
ನೀವು ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ
Es las 6.
ಏನಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡಿ ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ ಬೈಕ್ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಯಾಮ್ರಾ ತಿರುಗಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ
Sí, yo creo que
ಸರ್ ನಾನು ಇರ್ತೀನಿ ಆದರೆ ಇವಾಗ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಟ್ನಲ್ಲ
para salir con el siguiente bajador. No va a haber tráfico y a la 1 más o menos parar. Para desayunar, ir a un puestecillo, luego podemos de hecho que intenten buscar esa vaca. Sí, sábado. O si estaría bueno.
ನೀವೇ ಊಟ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಬೇಗ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ 10 ಗಂಟೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಚಿತ್ರಾನ್ನ
Pero pensaba que
Vamos a tomar un zumo o algo así. Ok.
ಎಲ್ಲೋಗಿದ್ದೆ ಎಲ್ಲೋಗಿದ್ಯಾ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅದು ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಎಂಡ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಸೊ ಬೋರ್ಡ್
ಮೇಡಮ್ ಜ್ಯೂಸ್ ತಗೊಂಡು
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್
ಜ್ಯೂಸ್ ಬೇಕಾ ಅಲ್ಲ ಜ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕುಡಿದು ಬನ್ನಿ ಜ್ಯೂಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ಇದೆ ನೀವು ತಗೊಳ್ಳೇಬೇಕು ಮೇಡಮ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಜ್ಯೂಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಮ್ ನೀವು ಜ್ಯೂಸ್ ಕುಡಿದು ಬನ್ನಿ ನೀನು ಕುಡಿದು ಅಮ್ಮ ಜ್ಯೂಸ್
ಸರ್ ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ
ಹೋಗಮ್ಮ ಜ್ಯೂಸ್
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ನೀವು
ಅಲ್ಲ
ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಬನ್ನಿ ಹಾಗೆ ಒಂದು ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ PPT ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡೇಟ್ರಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಪ್ರೊಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು
ನನ್ನ ಅಪ್ಪ ಬೈತಿದ್ದಾರೆ
ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬನ್ನಿ ಬನ್ನಿ
ಅದರ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಬರಬೇಡ ಅಂತಂದ್ರಂತೆ ಸರ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದೆ ಖುಷಿ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ ಸೆಲ್ವನ್ ಲಾಂಚ್
So please call them everybody. ಸರ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಲಂಚ್ಗೆ ಸರ್ Welcome back. So now we're moving towards the third and very important for students' point of view. The third theme is all about skill development and workforce readiness. This theme centers around the alignment of education and skill training with industry needs, ensuring that graduates are well prepared for the demands of the job market. So let me invite Srimati Neeraj Sharma on the dais, Professor Diya Sinha, Mr. Kumarin Kapoor, Mr. Manish Agrawal, Mr. Prakash, and Ms. Sitara Srinivasi. Let me invite the first panelist for the theme Skills Development and Workforce Readiness, Mrs. Neeraj Sharma. Srimati Neeraj Sharma, she comes with 15 years of experience, encompasses software development, data science, and effective team management, a self-driven proficient in predictive modeling, data manipulation, data excavation, and image analysis. Her particular focus lies within the realm of AI applied to the medical field, and she is currently engaged in the collaborative research initiative involving IIC and St. John research institute, all while maintaining a full-time professional commitment. Welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, Puneet. Namaste, everybody. So, this topic is of my very much favorite topic, and I start this talk with just my experience. I talk to a lot of kids, not kids, children, studying in the undergraduate programs. And recently, I talked to a second year BCA undergraduate child, and I said that, what do you want to do after your graduation? And he said that, ma'am, either I'll do a MCA or MBA. So this is not we expect from our undergraduates, and this is not the problem with the child also. Another child, BCA, first year, and he said that everything was fine, but I'm struggling with AI. This AI is creating a lot of problems. So the point here is that, as Prasad sir said, that the children are very, very creative and smart, but the lacking part is awareness. So who is responsible for that awareness is definitely academia also comes in the picture. Because at that time they are under the control of the academia. Now the problem, now the solution part, when we talk about, and few of us talk that industry is not collaborating with us and industry is not helping because they are busy or they do not want to take out time. But I just want to ask few questions that the open source area is available there, how many students are going and contributing to the open source area, or how many times in our classes we talk about that yes, open source is a area where you can go and contribute. It does not need any industry help. Another thing is that if we go about the machine learning and AI, which is really very much in today, lot of data, public and private, is available over the net. How many times we are collecting the teams, making the groups within the first year. Starting from the first year, I believe that the internships or projects, hands-on projects, should not happen in the last semester of the years and where the focus is just to get the job. No, there we are not making them to know or learn the things. There we are just telling them get some internship and get into the job, and that is definitely related with the academia reputation also, because next year they have to show that report also. I'm so sorry, but that is the truth. If we want really to teach the students, start with the very first year, get the projects, make the groups, and let them deliver the things. There are so many research papers available. How many of us are telling them that let's take this research paper and let's implement it within our campus and the professors will help you? So please, we are stuck with basically the attendance thing and only with the traditional. I'm not generalizing it, but yes, still it is traditional. I'll give you an example. I don't want to quote the name of the college, but that comes within a tier 1 colleges. I gave a workshop of 2.5 hours on image processing. That was a code workshop where we talked about the image and how we can process the image. I prepared the data on a very huge, large data set so that they can actually experiment on that. I put the code, everything on the GitHub so that the students do not face the problem in running that. I gave the setup, everything. And in the last, the professor asked me, ma'am, please can you provide a PPT of this? So there goes the problem that if the professors is having this kind of mindset, and we cannot deny this, that this is happening, because I know many engineering graduates from my family, and when we talk, then they said that yes, most of the years it was a PPT presentation studies. So as I think Ramesh sir said that teachers has the responsibility to nurture the students. First of all, they comes there. So industry comes later. And that is not true also that industry is helping in a lot of ways. Somebody can actually put up an aeroplane in their campus, then what else we cannot do that. So industry, and we can see UPI, like Darshan gave the example of UPI, that is a world class, actually in the architecture. We don't go beyond the UPI, we can discuss maybe, but we have to go behind the architecture. We have to teach that architecture of UPI how to develop. COVID is a very excellent example where academia and industry came in collaboration and they really did wonderful job in developing their tracking applications, everything, and that is the fastest development ever seen. Are we taking that use case to our children? That is the need of the day. We need to actually not just to make them learn or mug up something. They have to do the things hands-on, and there are so many platforms which academia actually can use. Thank you so much. Along with that, I have an open question for academia and industry. We always talk about the normal kids who are in colleges and in the regular streams of colleges. I really want you all to think about the people or children who are coming from the NIOS streams. Believe me, we are lacking on the brilliant minds. Brilliant minds. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So I strictly push both the panelists for two themes to keep it very short. Lot of them are feeling hungry. Professor, next I would invite Professor J.R. Sinha. J.R. Sinha is a PhD fellow, IIT fellow, IEI, SMI, EEE, professor at IIIT Bangalore. He has published more than 316 research papers at international and national levels, and he edited a lot of books. Don't ask me the fields which he has not worked there. Like cognitive science to data deduplication, lot many fields. He has a teaching and research experience of 24 years. He has been Dean of Faculty and Executive Council member of CSBTU and currently a member of Senate of MIIT. He served as a distinguished IEEE lecturer in IEEE India Council for Bombay section. He is a recipient of many awards and recognition across national and international. So I welcome you.
Thank you so much, Punitji. Good afternoon and namaste to all. Thank you so much, NMIT Professor Karunakar, for inviting me here. Please allow me to begin with a thought of Swami Vivekananda, which is very relevant to this particular program. Keep your eyes and ears open. Keep watching, keep observing. Keep observing here and there, learn from there. Keep going, keep learning, keep going, keep learning. This is very much needed. I mean, that awareness has to be there so that we don't want to work alone. What's going on in and around, most of us actually ignore, and that's very important to consider. So I'll begin with what I was actually trying to highlight during the introductory meet this morning. I'll again continue with that. There is a university in Myanmar, which was run by Government of India, Ministry of External Affairs, and it was mentored by IIIT Bangalore. I was part of that team. I was there for 5 years. Based on that and based on what we have been practicing in IIIT Bangalore, practically, I would like to respond to some of the apprehensions which were raised during the last two panel discussions. There was discussion about how to bring the industries closer and how to actually revise the curriculum. In fact, revising, designing, revamping the curriculum has a great scope to involve the industries. How they will come, you have to catch them either through these kind of activities or something. And what is needed that time I was trying to highlight, at least offer 1 or 2 courses as an elective courses by the industries. Why this is needed, they will come closer to you. I'll talk about one more thing, how to get CSR from those industries. Why they will invest. Like last 1 year I did 2 CSR. both worth more than 30 lakh. One was a smart city, was funded by Toshiba. Other was studying the impact of meditation in the human health, funded by emphasis. How to bring them? Either using, involving them in offering elective courses, involving them critically in designing, revamping and revising the curriculum. It's not only to include them in board of studies, rather invite them, and invite them to offer some unique course. And this is how we can bridge the gap and we can bring them so that we can mutually benefit each other. Through CSR, if you don't perform, next year they're not going to give you. I'm happy to tell you that in the next round from both the industries, we got even more amount for our 5G and other research. So this happens, otherwise they'll not spend money on you. Second thing which I would like to quickly say that I was again mentioning during the introductory meet is the project elective and reading elective. How much autonomy is here, how much you can do that, it depends. But through those, I can give one example. Cognitive science and psychology. One of my students is doing reading elective this semester of 4 credit. What literature we are studying? MIT Encyclopedia on study of brain, mind and psychology. This will actually give the student, to understanding, to the exposure of what's happening, because his excitement, his area of interest, what he wants to pursue is neuroscience and brain research. And accordingly, we chose a topic and that's what we are doing it. Thirdly, quickly because I don't have time, is like, as I told you, we have one MOSIP. There are verticals, we have one MOSIP called as Massive Open Source Identity Protocol. We are providing to more than 17 countries Aadhaar kind of solution. Philippines is one of them, we have already provided. Morocco is one of them, we have already provided. Entirely funded by Melinda Gates. So what happens when you get such kind of bigger research funds? You can get lot of interns there, your research students there. You can invite, we have at least 17 startups working in our campus. One of the startup, I think Sparko Life, is the startup with which my interns are working. What they are working, they are contributing to address their challenges related to HRV data. They are working in the area of healthcare. Lastly, I know that I have hardly few seconds. Lastly, a few people were talking about MOU. I can really tell you. Last year, I think one collaborator who is from Italy, University of Sannio, is a common friend of me and Parmesh Chari. And it's a good public university. I brought that MOU to my director. Director and dean said, Sinha ji, nahi karenge. Otherwise, reach to their colleges, other universities, they'll sign. We'll not do until we can actually contribute something, let's not sign the MOU. That is very important, what we are going to contribute. Lastly, one last point which I want to highlight. Madam was talking about image processing. I'm mentoring one project of power grid. It's a practical problem. How to automate the gauges, automatic reading of gauges and meters. All participants are from industries. They are from power grids. How it is happening? We are offering some continuing education program. Through that, you can reach to the industries. They want a lot of data science and other kind of programs. They will understand your strength and your potential, and then they will be interested in you. So, only 10 seconds. Okay, sorry. Sorry, close this. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I call upon Komaril Kapoor. Komaril is a Senior Director, Engineering at Cisco, leading the enterprise networking switching business. A team of about 200 plus employees responsible for switching product group in India. He has been instrumental in setting up and driving a startup offering smart solutions by reducing the friction between physical and online world for a couple of years during 18-19. He had multiple products across service provider portfolio and enterprise business. So I welcome you.
Namaste everyone. I think this is a great opportunity for me to really be among the esteemed speakers here. And before I start on skill development, I know we talked about innovation and a lot of other things. I think innovation is something where I think we talked about that people who are really cream or really at top 10%, they'll figure out something or the other. But I think rest 90%, that is what you're talking about, when anybody talks to the principal of the college, they ask, what is the CTC? Where does the person go? I think that is where the skill development really becomes very, very important, right? So here, since we are talking about, some of the ideas also, and also some things which can be taken back to the government also from the policy perspective. So I'm just going to be talking about few things from the industry perspective, what, working in Cisco, what we are doing also, and how it can be probably taken forward. First thing, what I found is in last 2 years, there has been a government mandate that 2% of the overall company scale, or basically the number of people who are there in the company, 2% of that you are going to be taking students from tier 2, tier 3 city colleges, and those are going to be your apprentices. This is going to be right after the completion of their BTech. Now this is something which becomes so important, because from the employment perspective, I think unless until the skill development is there, they really get lost. So what I've seen in last 2 years, for example, Cisco taking almost like 200 or 300 students who are just completing their BTech, coming and working with us, right? I think it has been beneficial for all those students and the colleges, plus I think for the industry as well, because again, we go to big cities, premier colleges, and you always get them there. And if you look at the retention rate, maybe after 2 years you will hardly find 10% of them there, right? So I think that is one thing which I found very, very beneficial. My only request, or the way I see it, how can you really expand it further as well? Because whatever government has mandated is only for the companies which are beyond a certain numbers or the revenue generation, but not for other companies. How can you really facilitate that? I think that is going to be number one. Number two, I think internships, whatever the colleges offer, I think, again, while it is scale also, but innovation as well. What I've really found is that the people who come, to do the internship don't always look at targeting or basically skilling them for the work what you really want to do, or really make them machines also. One of the example I'll give, some of the interns who came to one of the group in my company, and they were there for 2 or 3 months, they were just given one particular problem which otherwise I wouldn't do, because I'm really, from the business perspective, I need to take care of that. And the kind of solution and the ideas they came out with, I don't think anybody else would have really come out. So this is serving purpose of your innovation also, and handling the skill part as well. Number three, I think that is where the industries they need to come into picture. So for example, in Cisco, we have something called NetAcad, which is reaching out to all the tier 2, tier 3 cities, or anywhere somebody is sitting in India, they can register to that. And last 2 years, we have seen almost like 1 lakh students who are really, participating in that. They are making use of the course offerings which are being done. And again, this is from the CSR standpoint of activity, which is being done from the Cisco perspective. And again, there are multiple, training companies who really get paid from Cisco, but at the end, the benefit what we see is humongous. And one other thing what I really want to talk about was diversity, as part of it. See, in India, still the mindset is, in a smaller town, if my girl, is going to be going to the college, it is better she goes, at 9 o'clock and comes back at 5. I don't really want her to go really far off place. But look at the talent what you have there. And then, so the reason I'm bringing it up, when we really started recruiting from the NetAcad perspective, in fact, we found 50% of the female students, they scored 200 out of 200. Otherwise, you wouldn't have really gotten anything from there. I think this was amazing experience. So what my, request and suggestion would be, if this is what can be expanded and extended across the industry, and maybe through some government policies as well, I think this is really going to be helping big time in the skill development. Thank you.
Much needed on the internship part. Thank you. Now I call Ms. Sitara Srinivasan, who is the founder and CEO of Nakshatra Sciences, a platform for research-based learning. The company focuses on multidisciplinary projects in sciences, aerospace engineering, and climate sciences. They have impacted over 25,000 students, quite big, Sitara, great achievement, and are establishing research centers at universities. Let me welcome Sitara Srinivasan.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know everyone is hungry, so I'm going to try to wrap this up as early as I can. So he introduced me, and I graduated less than 4 years ago, and I started a company for collaborative, project-driven learning. So as I started speaking to other people who had really developed some innovations in deep technology or some core science concepts, one thing they really remember from their college days is basically their club activity. So some of them would have built RC planes in their aerospace club. Some of them would have built, engines for cars or car frames. So the memories that these founders and innovators were taking from their college experience was largely determined by the interactions they had with other friends and peers. So you may think that the curriculum is probably playing 80% of the role, but the reality is the things you remember 10 years down the line are all the adventures you had while building something and failing. So today I want to start by talking about the absolute, importance of project-driven learning and introducing it as early as possible in the undergraduate experience. The second thing I want to talk about is the fact that the people who are best capable of teaching these undergraduate students are not just the professors with a lot of experience, but also seniors who are just a few years older. Right? If you take 27-year-olds, 28-year-olds who are now in academia, who are now in R&D labs, they have a passion for science which is not yet dead. They have a curiosity which is still alive. So the way they can teach the 22-year-olds, you can't expect the experienced professors to instill the same amount of passion. Right? So over the last 3 years, we built this global platform where some postdoc student in Italy can teach a kid in Trivandrum about the awesomeness of particle physics or what is happening in the CERN laboratories. And how many engineering students have really heard about these applied sciences projects where engineering is so important? How many of us have heard of LIGO India, which is our next gravitational wave detector? And as we speak, Aditya L1 mission successfully got launched by ISRO. So there is so much happening in the intersection of science, technology, and in the university hubs. So what I have really been fascinated is by the idea of setting up these research cells for universities. And from a student point of view, I think it's so important for universities to have that, where it's not just a connect to industries, but it is a connect to R&D labs. It is a connect to research institutions. One example of this is we collaborated with Raman Research Institute to host the first radio astronomy innovation program. So we selected 50 students from all across India, and we just gave them access to a lab. And we said, they had some basic skills in RF electronics, and we just said, build whatever you want, right? And they came up with an amazing project where they studied the sun over a span of 10 days. It's called an interferometer. So this basic concept of just letting them play with ideas and building is really, really crucial. One last thing I would like to talk about is the alumni connect that your university has. Like I was saying, young people are very capable of teaching. So if you can create this complete circle where you set up a research cell, the student joins in the first year, learns a couple of things, is failing, playing, building. By the time they graduate, they have such a strong connect with the friends, with their juniors. They are not going to go away. That connect will remain for decades, and I have personally experienced that. So if you can maintain that strong connect, those alumni people will be the best ones to come back and do skill training within the university hub. I have a lot of other points to discuss, but I would love to probably discuss that one-on-one. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sitara. Now I request Manish Agrawal. Manish Agrawal is the co-founder and CEO of Heavy. He's a seasoned hands-on leader with a proven track record of building and leading teams to strategize, architect, and develop products in startups and in large enterprises. Balanced combination of market research, business acumen, product design, and technical depth to engage with customers, translating their challenges to opportunities and solutions. He's an MTech graduate from IIT Guwahati and MBA from Sunstone Business School. Now I welcome Manish Agrawal.
Namaskara. I think a lot of things have been spoken. I will try to go a bit down actually, right, and try to dig out the root cause and some of the action points. The how point basically can be taken on based upon the academia's different approaches. So here people spoke about that, CTC point of thing, right? So it comes from the mindset, right? That let's say that how it starts actually when we start asking a question, what is the best college? But below than that, we would have asked a question, what's the best school? We have selected the best school based upon the good infrastructure. We never ask the question that what they teach, how they teach, right? And the same thing goes on till that student comes back to the college for the institutions and all this one. After 12th, they come and see this one, okay, what they want to do. They select person, okay, what is going on in the trend actually, right? Engineering and medical and whatnot, right? And then how we select the college, right? We select the college which is the best college. And how do we answer that question, that CTC, right? If people spoken here, right? What was the CTC route? How, mujhe kya milne wala hai, right? So the focus is not about learning actually, right? The root cause problem is that instead of learning, we are focusing on earning. So if that one is the action point we have to change, that is our mindset. That probably that when the student comes to the first year, first semester, we have to try to build that you have come here for learning. If you do that well, earning will follow. Second thing we spoke in morning about that nation building actually, right? Nation building, I think, can be directly proportional to the creativity. If we can put on the creativity in the students, the nation building will automatically follow. But creativity is such a deep thing actually that it will make the things impossible to possible. And if we go about this one, right, doing the jobs, government jobs and all this thing, right, government is not responsible to provide jobs. In fact, they do not have the capacity to provide jobs to everybody. We have to come to that our own thing, what we can create. And once we create, we will do the nation building as well. Third thing, that we spoke about in the morning that 85% students are not good, right? Okay, that 15% are good, they will do their own thing, no matter. But we have to focus on those 85%. What is that framework we can employ? The framework is this one, that feedback loop. Feedback loop, right? That feedback is that the root cause that for the perfection. If we can start this one, right, that a kind of that assessments for the students at the very basic level from the first semesters and all this one, try to check on their knowledge, right? Sometimes we fear exams, right? But if we have the regular things set into our pattern, this one assessments, then we will be very much comfortable with taking exams, assessments and all this thing. And if we can employ the industries from the first semesters only, that this is the performance for the student actually, then the industry will be so comfortable with the student that okay, this is the continuous performing student actually, we can groom them. As of now, what the industry does after we go to the fourth year, they put cost actually, then they groom them. If we do it from the first semester and the industry helps on this one, they don't have to put cost that time. The student, when they go into that industry after the fourth year, right, from the day one, they will be productive because they will be having the culture fit for the industry. They will know that how the industry work, what they work. They will have built lot of relationships with the industry. And one more point actually, right, Madam has said this one, NIOS actually, right, NIOS, right, that these students have broken the ceiling from the very start actually. I don't want to go into this one that, this is the school and that is the thing, right. We have to employ those students as well, that how they do. One last thing, that in the morning we spoke about, we feel this one, if you are sitting in front of the computer, everything is done. It is very correct that nothing will happen if you are just sitting in the front of computer morning to evening and coding actually. At the end, whatever you are coding, you have to go and sell it out, right? The soft skills are the very important part of it, right? When we go out and talk to people, that is soft skills you need it. So at the end it comes out this one, we have to unlearn something to learn it. And for the colleges actually, right, if we can use the infrastructure of the colleges and the resources, if we can bring the industry to the colleges in terms of if we develop the incubation centers at the colleges, right, the industries will come and the students will have the direct exposure to the industry. I will end with the quote of Swami Vivekananda, that arise, awake, and stop not till your goal is reached. Dhanyawad.
Thanks, Manish. Now I call upon Mr. Prakash P, Senior Manager, TMG Tech and Bangalore. He comes with a rich experience, especially but with a fresh mind. A true human resource person from IT industry, he has developed SW product to solve recruitment challenges. Let me welcome Prakash P.
Good afternoon, everybody. I know I have 3 minutes and we are all hungry. So, see, basically I am a HR. Okay, I have a similar challenges of communication gap. Okay, they just come and say, I need a Java resource. Then I have to ask 5 years, what exactly you need, where is the location. I collect all the information. And also I manage a talent management group where my job is to give a project who are in the business way. So they just come and tell me I need a Java resource. So what I'm doing is I'm collecting all the data, put it in a common forum where everyone can access. The project manager gives the details and the associate can know where he can, who to apply. And I will say skill development is like when I had a driving license, I don't know how to drive. Okay, then I practiced when there is no people, there is no vehicle, then I learned. So I have an interesting story. Out of 40 candidates, I hired one guy who is trying to develop a product, a voting machine, which cannot be manipulated. Because of that, so basically whatever you know, the students who try to implement. So then he got selected. And see, before coming to this meeting, I was thinking that all challenges are with the institutes and colleges and universities. Whereas I just came to know that they are trying to do their best, right, to overcome, but there are some gaps. So basically, the thing is like we have a forum where they can put their what they need, and there are people like mine, some of my friends, they are able to volunteer. So it need not necessarily to be a industry to institute. So you put what we need from the people who have the knowledge and expertise. So whoever is interested, they can come and help the students, right? And also one more thing, like one of my friends, I hired him as a BA history, but he is very passionate about Linux, and he found a forum for Linux in his town, and he joined us, and after a couple of years, he started his own company, and it got acquired by other company. Now he is one of the senior most person in a big company. So what it means is like degree is just like a driving license, but as long as you have the skill, right, what you can do, your knowledge, I think people will be candidates, students can get the job, and industry can benefit, and also TechCom have a tie-up with a lot of institutes where we will give the colleges, boss, you teach the students on these topics. Okay, this is what we are looking at. And I think due to this recession, right, we lost the luxury of hiring someone, putting them 6 months training, then making them revenue in everyone. So we lost that all this. I mean, see, today is right. When they come, we are expecting the revenue. The best way is when they come, right? Already they have all the skills and knowledges to do the job. Thanks a lot. I think. Thank you.
With this, we'll come to the end of theme 3. If anybody want to take question on this panel, on this theme? We have just one question to ask. You can please ask, or you can share anything. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next theme, the societal impact and commercialization of ideas. Okay, let me thank all the panelists of theme 3 for their inputs and opinion. Thank you a lot. Thanks a lot. Now I'll invite Charit Kashyap, Dr. Gaurisha Joshi, Sai Mitra, and Mr. Shashank to discuss on societal impact and innovation commercialization. I hope we have invited all the experts. If I have missed out anybody, please let us know. Anybody who joined late?
Should I only maintain the timer even here?
Yes. Now, except Dr. Gausha Joshi, all of them have only 2 minutes. Yeah. Okay, so let me invite Charit Kashyap, CEO of Reconcile.com. He worked with 800 plus brands in retail. At a very young age, he started his company at 21 and sold his company at a very early age. So, TEDx speaker, the youngest innovative founder at NSRCL IMB. Let me welcome Charit Kashyap.
I have my timer on. I have few questions more than anything, right? As soon as I ask my questions, all of us need to raise our hands. How many of us use Gmail? Quick?
Yeah.
How many of us pay for it? Right? So this is the example that I want to give. How can we take innovation for granted? Why can't we use Google model for education, for healthcare, for innovation, right? These are some of the new innovative methods that we need to start exploring to beat the world, to show how innovative was India. In the past, I would like to remind one thing, that dharmasya artha mula, which means if you don't have wealth, doesn't make sense you are good or bad, right? So as long as you harness your wealth through innovation, through knowledge, it is only then that we will be able to explore the world for good. I want to propose one idea here, right? The entire world is talking about China plus one. How can we say Bharat plus one? What if we finish our education and spend 1 more year with the industry as a curriculum? What if we assign regular models for these students to be a part of the curriculum itself? If I had an opportunity, I would have sold my company much earlier, right? One last thing that I would like to emphasize and finish is we need to start inculcating how to define risk. In colleges, I was not taught how to define risk for myself, right? If I'm not taught about defining risk for myself, how the hell can I even take any step in the space where I don't know anything? Thank you so much.
Thanks, Charit. Timer for this entire panel and self-timer. So now let me invite Sai Matrakale, who comes with 30 plus years of experience in semiconductor design, mainly networking telecom domain. He offers services to startups and design service organizations.
Just correcting my name, it's Saumitra. Okay, so yeah, try to be in 2 minutes. And actually, I was not part of this particular panel, but I still wanted to talk just about 2 actionable items which can come out of this panel. So think about whole India is the problem of scale, right? We all say that population is the problem, but as N. Vittal long ago said that we have to think of it as a resource. So let's attack a problem of scale. If you think about any product or innovation, typically it's a reverse pyramid. Since I am from chip design, I'll talk about that. Chip design typically employs maybe 1 or 2 or 5 employees. Then there is a board gets built on it which employs maybe 10 to 15 people. Software gets written on it which 100 people write. And when the product goes into field, there are thousands of people who are doing the servicing or the deployment and the customization of that solution, right? So it's a reverse pyramid in a way. So the innovation part typically is restricted to those 10, 15, 20 people. That problem from academia perspective, as many panelists already have told that it can be solved or they take care of themselves. And yeah, I think some premier institutes can teach
how to learn, unlearn, relearn, etc., and problem solving. That is what is needed for that part. So I'm not really attacking that part. I'm thinking about how do we solve the problem for India, which is so many people are there who are all looking for jobs or some such thing. And many people will say that why to make them employees, why not make them employers? That is a very valid thing. But I'm still talking about the problem, how other countries might have attempted to solve. So Germany has a very big apprentices system, and India is trying to implement that. But if you think about the basic difference, there they do it post 12th grade, and typically it is a 36 months or 48 months program, and the industry itself regulates it and tells people that it is very generic program. It is not necessarily that if you are doing internship, apprenticeship with BMW, you have to work only for BMW. Any people can work anywhere. So it is self-regulated. Unfortunately, we do not have that. But imagine what we have: all the institutes, great institutes like NMITs and New Horizons and all. And I think Professor Manjunath talked about it, that how can we attach these colleges to an industry. So I believe that that apprenticeship program can be joined this way together, and we can really offer a solution where all these colleges are actually post-12 can become a very, very industry-specific training programs, institutes. And the last point I wanted to ask, or rather bring out, if you come up with a white paper, etc., is that I think Principal Sir today morning said that when he visited other universities, he found that all the professors or faculty members were forced to go to research institutes or R&D. Now my question is that what is their incentive to do that in India today? Unfortunately today an associate professor or assistant professor promotion happens based on how many research papers he or she has published, how many PhDs they have guided, but there is zero incentive for them to say that, hey, I went for 6 months into industry and I earned 5 lakh rupees per month from them. And if that kind of thing, I mean, industry is not full to pay them, right? So if somebody is paying them, this means they did something really meaningful contribution. So can AICTE or the college management dilute their promotion guidelines and say that, hey, not only the PhD guidance, but if you have done any of these kind of things, that also makes you eligible for next grade. That will improve faculty and automatically that will improve the interaction. So I'll just stop here. I know I've taken maybe 30 seconds more. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm pushing hard. Let me welcome Shashank, colleague of mine, CPO of Seminar Room, fresh graduate, passed out last year. He started his company called Team Up, and which is acquired by Seminar Room. Shashank, over to you. Just 2 minutes, Shashank.
Yes, absolutely. Hello everybody. Thank you NMIT for giving me this opportunity to speak to the amazing dignitaries that came over here and helping me change India for the better. You know, just a small intro. Right? I'm a computer science graduate, and while doing my computer science graduation, I also held a diploma in video game design. I built 6 startups, out of which 3 of them failed. 3 of them somehow I could raise some funds. I exited in a couple of them, and right now I'm the CPO of an amazing company that we're growing really, really fast, Seminar Room, and I'm 23. This is not a way to boast about myself, but a way to question why more students don't have the opportunity to be the same or better than me. Do more things, build amazing products and businesses at college, and have a great societal impact. Let me address the problem. If every student is excited to do more things, the only problem is, in Einstein's words, now if you ask a fish to climb a tree, it'll think it's stupid. Currently, students see academics as more of a burden than a boon, and the reason is quite simple. They're bombarded with so much theory with almost no understanding of how these things are being utilized in the industry. Neither is there any sort of industry applications that are being showcased. Why is that so? In fact, we can forget the why. Instead, I say we sit and work on how we can improve this situation. Seminar Room as a company has been at the forefront of leading this change. It's not our point to blame the system of education. We know the complexities involved, but it's about how we can all come together and help improve it and help improve students' lives. This is where the support of academia is required. I would like to sincerely ask a question. Why is it that only when lenience was provided during the COVID pandemic, that thousands of student startups boomed in this country? Being free was the fundamental requirement. It is a fundamental part of innovation. It is fundamental to building great products, allowing students to innovate quick and fail fast. If more and more students are allowed to help create with ample time by bringing in industry experts to help inspire them, nudge them in all different directions, mentoring them, teaching them the importance of why they learn and what they learn, we're going to see a fundamental change in the way in which the ecosystem currently works. Simultaneously, if academics were to give more time to work on amazing things, I'm sure that a lot of these student projects that that are created during the course of their academics can be commercialized and bring real value to the world. On another vertical, I'd like to add to the fact that 6 weeks of internships is extremely short. Right? It is my request that every company takes at least 1 to 2 months to just train a fresher to even pick up some simple industry work. It's my request that such internship periods be extended to at least 3 months for any sort of effective industry exposure to occur. And to conclude, I just have one more thing to say. Students today, entrepreneurs tomorrow. These young minds become job creators, category creators, and innovators. Tomorrow, these same students will have the opportunity to become policy creators and stand here in such dignified stages to be a part of history and shape the future of India. Thank you all to the dignitaries once again. I hope you will create an amazing India together.
Thank you, Mr. To conclude this panel, so we have experience. Dr. Gaurish Joshi, Director of Sept, a Chief Consultant for NEP Draft Committee headed by Kasturi Rangan, a Governor nominee for Academic Council for Ambedkar School of Economics, University, Bangalore. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Puneet. Namaskar, everyone. I wanted to cut short my introduction because you can credit that time to me for 30 seconds. Okay, so I'm on the examination hall now. I have only 3 examples to share with all of you that you can decode later how it connects with the topic of social impact of industry-academy interaction. Number 1, E&Y, where they also work with us in creating some kind of a social impact. Very simple thing, the recent national education policy, they completely taken care of how to spread that, create that awareness in every corner of the state through various means. They are not given a single pie, but they are given 20 employees, every employee 3 hours per week, like that for 2 months continuously in 3 batches. That's the number of hours of an industry is given to create awareness about a new education policy. I think that creates a lot of social impact in terms of awareness about what is going to happen in the future in our country with respect to education. Number 2, example 2, Shruth & Smith. It's a investing company. They have a lot of startups. They funded, where I was earlier working with RB Group of Institutions in an MBA institution. They funded a project, very interesting. They sent the students to the rural areas. The students, team of students, 4, 5, 3, they have to stay in the rural area for 1 month, extendable up to 45 days. And they had given 1 mentor, and college, 1 mentor will work with those students. It's all rural areas to find out the entire profile of that particular society, economic activities, and to try to build some kind of a model, business model or a commercialization of idea from that rural area. I think that worked very well. Students got lot of skills, and the RV has got some kind of a project. Data is a very huge data they got with couple of villages, and I think Shruth & Smith later they developed some of the key ideas which had given livelihood for those rural areas, and Shruth & Smith invested money as a commercial venture. The third example, I think most of the engineering college professors know about this, Mission 10X of Wipro. I think all over the country they have trained the principals and the lecturers or the engineering college faculty members about the new developments in the technology area a couple of years back. That had created a wave among the engineering college to improve the faculty quality. That has again created a lot of social impact in terms of those teachers had gone back to their classroom and I think better delivered about the latest happenings in the industry. I think the 3 examples with that, you please decode how you would like to link to the social impact. I think the bottom line is there are not only industry and academia or institutions. There are 4 points. One is definitely industry, second one is institutions or academia. I separate these industry associations from the industry for many reasons. These are the 3rd point, that is industry association, and the 4th one is social sector institutions. For example, we are now creating a community of research scholars to develop the research skills. That is completely through a funded project of VRL. So like that, as a connecting points, I think that's where synergies will create. I think institutions need to look at these associations and social sector organizations to reap the benefit of what industry is supporting. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. It was really enriching and wonderful panel, social impact and innovation commercialization. Thank you all the panelists. Now let's go on to the final valedictory. We are. No, sorry, I'm sorry, we are short of time. So we have moved to the final concluding final presentation. That's valedictory. So we have very famous Dr. Thimmegowda sir with us. His profile itself is going to take around 3 hours to read and present. Wherein let's make it very short. Let me welcome first Dr. Thimmegowda sir to give the valedictory remarks. He is the former Vice Chancellor of Bangalore University. He was the Vice Chairman for Higher Education Council Karnataka. His contribution will be remembered for implementing NEP framework across Karnataka. A big profile, a big personality among us with us. Sir, let me welcome to give valedictory remarks for the audience. Thank you, sir.
Eldrigu Namaskara. Good afternoon. I do not wish to hold your lunch, therefore I don't want you to wait. Earlier I was planning to give my remark for 15 to 20 minutes. Now I have been asked to give only for 5 to 6 minutes. First of all, let me thank the organizers, especially Dr. Karnakar Rai, for giving me this opportunity. For me, this has been a learning experience because I have been in this education field for the last 50 years. Therefore, I have seen on both sides. I have worked both sides, the industry and academia. They are right in their own ways, but they are coming closer. The bridge has to be, anyway, the gap has to be bridged now between the academia and industry. In order for that to happen, the mindset should change from both sides. There are several of industries and several institutions which already collaborate, deeply interact with each other, but most of our institutions are not doing it. We have to move towards each other. That is how we can establish things. Therefore, this is a big step in that direction. Whatever the interaction we had today, I congratulate the organizers, NMIT, for organizing a serious discussion between the academia and industry. The one thing I wish to point out, all these aspects, whatever you have raised during the interaction and presentation, are taken care of by the National Education Policy 2020. It addresses all the problems. Each one of these points are addressed in the National Education Policy. For example, what it says, it tries to bridge the gap between the present education system and what is required in the 21st century. Therefore, it concentrates on knowledge, skills, values and disposition. There is a major shift in approach to education system. That's what we see in this. There is a lot of flexibility. There is no rigidity. There is no hard separation. There is changes on all aspects of education, at the curriculum, pedagogy, assessment, governance and regulations. Therefore, it is not only, we are not talking about only the autonomy to the institutions. The NEP talks about autonomy to the teachers. Therefore, if one finds whatever that teacher is teaching in the classroom is not good, not relevant, if it is outdated, the teacher will have the freedom to update it and teach it, get it ratified by the institution to that extent. To that happen, the entire regulations and the governance should be restructured. That's what NEP says. There will be a single regulatory body, Higher Education Commission of India. There will be 4 verticals for it, one governing the regulation, the accreditation part it was told. One accreditation, NEAAC cannot accredit all the bodies. It can only accredit an institution as a whole. The program wise it cannot do just as NBA is doing it. There will be integration of NBA and NEAAC into National Accreditation Council, which takes care of accreditation. It will only do model accreditation and it will accredit institutions to accreditate the higher education institutions. Therefore, every state can have accreditation institutions that would be accredited to NAC, the new. There will be a granting agency, there will also be a standard setting agency. The other point that was raised, to start a medical college, it should have an hospital associated with, then only they can do it. This can happen in specialized fields of engineering. It may not happen in general education, but it can happen in engineering education, IT sector, mechanical sector, and other things, electrical sectors. Those industries can start the institutions, run these things. The things would change. That is possible. Even the banks can pass. The MBA and other things will be offered by the banks and service sectors. That type of thing it happens. There will be another important emphasis in what NEP does is experiential learning. It gives a lot of emphasis for experience training, hands-on training, the close interaction between the academia and industry. Just to mention a few points and whatever that has been mentioned in this. For example, if you look at the school and skill, regarding the skill development, regarding school and higher education, if you look at it, the school education is 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 in NEP. And in that, the terminal part of school education is 4 years. If you look at higher education, it is the first 4 years would be degree part. Therefore, that is the beginning of higher education is also 4 years. Therefore, the skill part would be introduced at the entry level in school education. That would be intensified in the higher education. That is what the NEP envisages, the improvement in employability for graduates. Because our degree certificate should not remain on paper, they should be really employable. On one side, there are a lot of jobs where we do not have qualified personnel, whereas on the other side, you have a large number of graduates who are not qualified, who are unemployable. That type of things can be solved only through the academia-industry interaction. Therefore, it is required for the survival of both the academia and industry. Like this, I can go on and on. I do not test your patience. Therefore, let me stop at this. I congratulate the institution, congratulate both the academia and industry for trying to come closer for the benefit of the primary stakeholders, the students, to produce the knowledgeable, multidisciplinary, employable graduates. Thank you, one and all. Thank you for this opportunity. I had a big slide to present and run through, but I cannot do it now. That can be shared.
Yes, sir.
I have
Sure.
given it.
We do it, sir.
Thank you, one and all.
Thanks a lot, Thimegoda sir. I'm sure this conference has created a fertile ground for groundbreaking discoveries and solutions through industry-academia collaboration. For sure, best of the outcomes will be taken to policy-making bodies through white paper. Before I invite Karunakar for the vote of thanks, I request Professor Nagaraj sir and Sridhar sir to honor our expert panel today. Let me invite each one expert panels to please accept our thanks. I request Nagaraj sir to please thank Amitabh Satyam sir, please. Shankar Ravi, please be ready. Dr. Nagaraj Vaidyanathan. Sridhar sir, please honor Shankar Ravi sir. Dr. Madhu Ganesh. Naga sir, to Dr. Vaidyanathan. Mr. Prasad Joshi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Darshan SK. Nachiket Gallery. Mrs. Neeraj Sharma. Mr. G.R. Sinha. I request Demegoda sir to please also join. Please. Kumar Kapoor. Please, ma'am. No, to give. We'll give it up. Manish Agrawal. Prakash B. Sitara Srinivasan. Please. Please come, sir. Please come on stage. Sita. Dr. Gaurisha Joshi. Charit Kashyap. Soumitra ji. Yes. Vijay ji. Well done. Sushant, yours join. Finally, I request Nagaraj sir, Sridhar sir to honor our guest of honor, Dr. Demegoda sir. I hope we have honored all the.
Thank you.
Mr. Mahantesh, please join.
Soumya, ಇದು ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಇದೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಇದೆ ಅದೇ
Thanks a lot. I'll try. Thanks a lot. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I hope we have covered all the panelists, we honored them. In case if you have missed out, I request.
I come for the second time?
Yeah, let me invite the brain behind this conference, Dr. Karunakar Rai. You always stand behind to get things done. So let me thank on behalf of all the organizers and invite him to give a vote of thanks.
Vote of thanks only in seconds, not in 2 minutes. Okay. Of course, when we started IAIF some 2 years back, many times this came to my mind also. At home, buying a refrigerator, washing machine, wife and husband, they discuss hours together. Which washing machine, which company, which brand. Or to put the son in a school, they discuss 10 rounds which school they should put. And to buy a motorbike, so many times they will go to showroom to see which bike to buy. But to build a nation, academy and industry, how many times we meet? This came to our mind. That's why this industry academy interaction forum came into existence, in fact. I'm sure today's meet, of course, all the resource persons, dignitaries, of course, you are supposed to be invited separately. Each one of you can, I'm sure, deliver 1 or 2 hours talk. You have come together. I think this is not a big, this is the beginning of, yesterday I was discussing with the IRCT chairman, Dr. Sitaram. He was very happy. Then when he realized it is today, not yesterday, he told, oh my God, I missed it. Otherwise, even he wanted to be in this discussion. He told, after this discussion of 2.5 hours, you give the recommendations from this panel. I will implement his story. And I am very thankful to, I will not mention each one of you, thankful to each one of you. I am sure you have come from a very long distance. Madam, I think 47 kilometers she drove on her own, in fact, from there. I am sure all of you have taken voluntarily, I am sure. It's not that we have called you, you are a resource person. You all have volunteered for this great cause. That's very important. That's how this work definitely will go ahead, I am very sure. Thank you so much for your precious time. I thank each one of you. I thank Dr. Timegowda, a great academician. Today, if you have taken NEP forward, not only in our state, other states also, I am sure, country also taken his guidance. Still at this age, he works day and night. When I requested him over a phone, I told him, sir, I will not come personally and invite you. He told, done, I will come, I will be there, he told. He has other assignments, in fact, today, but still he has come. Especially, I thank him. And I thank our principal, Dr. S.C. Nagaraj. He always supports Dr. Sridhar, Mr. Rohit Punja. Anything we take, any good thing, they are always there to support them. I thank them on behalf of all of you, in fact. And behind the screen is very important. There are so many people here. Dr. Soumya is here. Dr. Nayana, Professor Nayana is here. Our HOD, Dr. Ramachandra, he is here. He is the head of the department. He is the general chair of IEEE conference. Of course, I thank you, sir. And Pramesh Acharya is busy in the other arrangements. Dr. Nagaraj is here. Of course, many names. I thank all of them. Vijay, I thank you. Special thanks to you. He is being now his office, head office is in Noida. I think at least we had some 10 meetings. 10 meetings in between meetings, I am sure. And he has taken a new role. He is the senior vice president of SCL. He is the man, of course, taken a lot of, we don't tell pain, I think the happiness in organizing. Soumitra is there. And Punit, I always tell you, the right person to mentor and coordinate the person. Thank you. And thank all of you. Rajesh, I thank you, Dr. Nagesh. Dr. Rajesh. Rajesh, thank you. Okay, thank you all, and I request all of you to join for the lunch. It's in the first floor of B block, the next building. Let's all go together. And if our car has a space, we can accommodate more in the car. We can all go together. Thank you. Thank you.
I think it's wrong. It's not wrong if I ask to thank Karnakarai. We don't thank ourselves, but it's good because sir, Raghav sir, I request you to please just Karnakarai sir. Oh, one quick.
He's coming. Man behind this. ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಒಂದು ಗ್ರೂಪ್ ಫೋಟೋ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬನ್ನಿ.
Please join for the group photo.
ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ತೆಗಿತೀನಿ.
Please join for the group photo.
ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡಿ.
ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡು, ನಾನು ಫೋಟೋ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ತಗೊಂಡು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹತ್ರ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡಿ. ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಂದು
Nagesha, please come.
So sorry.
Excuse me. 20 people. I know. Speaking, no, not looking. You have to maintain the time as well. Invalid करना kind of thing. Excuse me, just smile for a photo with us. Group photo.
ಸ್ಮೈಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾ?
Thank you.
ನಿಮಗೂ ಒಂದು ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ಸರ್. ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಡಿಸ್ಕ್ರೈಬ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ, ವೇಟ್ ಅದು